Okay, so I almost did not make my 10-minute chat video today because this morning I was busy buying an RV. So today's been kind of an adventure, and you might hear more about that later. And now it's nighttime, so I've been busy all day long. But I'm gonna do this 10-minute chat because that's what I said I was gonna do. So I just want to tell the story, basically, of the day I launched my app. It was very exciting. After I started working at this job, I started building a React Native app. Oh, my mind is so slow right now. Sorry, I'm just so tired, but I'm going to chat. So the last 5 months, I was working on this React Native app for delivery drivers. So with background location tracking and push notifications for new orders, etc. And I was working on it all by myself and figuring out many, many things. But the time finally came and I demoed it for the CEO and everything was good to go. And they were training the drivers how to use it. And it was time for the drivers to download my app onto their phones and start actually using it for orders and deliveries. Now, how did it go? I'm happy to say it wasn't a total disaster. There were a few bugs. One I was able to push a fix like right away, which was very encouraging. And there were a few other requests for small features that I could add, which were simple enough for me to push right away as well. But the location tracking, it was updating way too frequently, and there were some problems with the push notifications and different things. These are the things that are difficult to test, and I will talk more about them later. But it wasn't a total disaster. The drivers could still use it for their orders and use the map to give them directions and such. But wouldn't you know it, that weekend, Expo came out with breaking changes. Breaking changes right after my launch. So all the things that I wanted to work on, the features and the fixes, etc., had to be put on hold until I could upgrade Expo and upgrade all the necessary packages and refactor so that I could get rid of the deprecated packages, etc. My code, it was broken. So I spent 5 hours on a Saturday upgrading Expo, figuring out all this stuff so that by Monday I would be able to work on the things that I needed to work on. And I'm happy to say that I got it going again. Now, and one of the things that was a terrible user experience was that every time I made a change, an update, the users would have to, it would download in the background, and then they'd have to close their app and then reopen it again to get the changes. No matter how you look at it, that is a bad user experience. No good. So I found out that there's in the app JSON, which is like the configuration for the app, you can actually put in how many seconds, I forget what it's called, but how many seconds the app will wait for a download before it just starts up. And I had it set at 0. And the reason I set it at 0 is because that was the recommended number, but that meant that it was waiting 0 seconds for the download of the update. I'm starting to shake because I'm cold and the motion light just turned off. Turn back on. Turn back on, motion light. Turn on. Oh, there we go. Now I get a little better lighting with the motion light. such a high-tech setup I have. Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm so cold. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, so it was set at 0. Set at 0. And so I thought, hey, I want them to be able to download the updates as soon as they launch their app and not have to close it and reopen it again. So I'm so glad that I was able to do that. And I refactored to get rid of an additional styling library that I was using. So now I'm just using one, which is much nicer for consistency and simplicity. And so anyway, overall, and ever since I've published these new changes, I've had no bugs, no complaints, and I hope that's a good thing. I assume that's a good thing if I don't have bugs or complaints. Otherwise, they're just like being quiet about it to spare my feelings or something. I hope not, because I like fixing things. I don't like it when things go wrong, but I don't mind fixing them because then I feel all crafty. Oh my goodness, I don't know if I'm gonna make it 10 minutes. I'm starting to shiver right now. But I'm so excited about this RV, guys. No, I'm not gonna talk about it yet. No, I'm gonna wait. But I'm saying we got an amazing deal on it, and it's got a few little things to fix. It's just like debugging, you know? Like, I'm gonna read the user's manual all the way through. It's just like reading the docs, okay? Like, if I had read the docs all the way through for the app JSON, or, you know, for Expo before doing this, it would have saved me. I'm going to talk more about that later too, because the same thing goes with the push notifications and the background location tracking. Like, the problem is the temptation to just scan and skip over the parts that don't seem relevant and just find the one little thing you're looking for. But reading all the way through the docs, especially if it's something super complex and super complicated and involved with so many different configuration things, it's so easy just to skip over things that you think are not important, but man, do you suffer for it later. So it's like getting a new RV. Read the user's manual all the way through from beginning to end, because then when you have strange beepings and strange things breaking or something, if you mess anything up, it is an expensive mistake. And the same is true in development, especially depending on your code base and what you're messing up. I mean, thankfully for mine, the business was not 100% dependent on my app working perfectly. Like, that would have been really, really bad. There's a web app that the drivers could fall back on, even if my app completely broke and it was just down. They still have the web app to fall back on, to get their orders, to do their deliveries. So that took a lot of pressure off of me, of course. But for the most part, I think they're happy. And I'm happy that they're happy. Drivers are out there using my app right now. That's pretty cool. And I did figure out the location tracking, but I was going to save that for another chat. But you know what? I've got another 2 minutes. May as well talk about it. So basically, it was updating too frequently. And it was another little thing in those docs that I just skipped over, which is that for Android, you can set the time interval to send a background location update. So I had set a time interval for so many seconds, so many minutes, whatever it was. And the problem is I was testing it on Android, because Android, this is why I was going to make a longer chat about location tracking, is because I wanted to go into like the development phase and the production phase and the difference between Android and iOS and that sort of thing. So maybe I'll still do that. I'll save that for tomorrow's chat, I suppose. But the main thing for today is that I launched my app. That was about a month ago now. Yeah, about a month ago. Yeah. And it's working and now I'm writing the docs for it. I've been writing the docs for it. And now I'm gonna start writing unit tests for it. So this is gonna be like a real thing that I can actually hand on to others when I move on, whenever or if ever that happens. So something to be proud of.